Why Netflix control over DC future is bad. Guys, I'm really excited about this one today because I honestly don't really know much about Netflix or Paramount. I'm not real into that stuff. I'm into Superman, if you didn't know that already. And I really do. I kind of want to know. I mean, which one would be the one I should be worried about? Which one should I be, happy for? Let me know what you think in the comments. Netflix or Paramount? Just comment Netflix or comment Paramount, whichever one you think is better. Because at this point, I really don't know. I just know I want somebody to be in control of it that knows what they're doing. That's what my hope is. Let's check it out. Original link in the description.
December 2025, a major news drop surfaced a few weeks ago when Netflix revealed it was acquiring Warner Brothers from Warner Brothers Discovery. The streaming giant that started with mailing DVDs is now being stacked up against the old school movie king.
How many of y'all did the mailing DVDs? We did those until, they pretty much told us, yeah, we're not doing that anymore.
But that's just the tip. The deal's worth jumps to around $83 billion, pulling in movies, shows, and a ton of big names. How did Netflix pull off this massive buy? And what happens next to all the fan favorite stuff like superheroes and dragons? It's April 1923. Four brothers named Harry, Albert, Sam...
We're going back that far. We're going all the way to 1923. Netflix's early days.
And Jack Warner kick off a movie studio in Hollywood. They start small, making silent films, but keep at it, cranking out stories that grab folks. And just like that, one big move changes it all. In 1927, they dropped The Jazz Singer, the first talkie with sound, and Warner Bros. Blew up. Were pumping out hits with stars like Humphrey Bogart, and their cartoons with Bugs Bunny made kids go wild.
I hurt you with my naughty gun.
Oh, shucks. Well,
And just like that,
I love the Bugs Bunny Superman. Y'all ever seen that? Love it.
Fast forward through mergers. In 1989, they joined Time Inc. to make Time Warner, dropping blockbusters like Harry Potter and The Lord of the Rings.
Expecto Patronum!
It's funny, we're talking so much good stuff about Warner Brothers. It seems like the people that knew what to do with that company are gone. They're gone.
It wasn't just HBO. Warner Brothers' main focus was DC, which they kept rolling with James Gunn in charge from late 2022. Under James Gunn, DC gained strong recognition in the cinematic world with films like The Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Black Adam, and DC League of Super...
He had something to... Did I misunderstand that? James Gunn had something to do with those movies? What?
Pets, all of which received good ratings online. However, this was not the end, as Gunn...
What did he say?
In the cinematic world with films like 2022. Under James Gunn, DC gained strong recognition in the cinematic world with films like The Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Black Adam, and DC League of Super Pets.
Guys, let me know if he's saying something wrong. Something just doesn't sound right about that. Is that right?
All of which received good ratings online. However, this was not the end, as Gunn was also planning a fresh cinematic universe, beginning with Superman in 2025.
Go on, Doc.
Get out of here.
Get out of it.
However,
I wonder if he froze that poor puppy's feet. He's not as good as we thought.
Earlier at that time, DC also released another blockbuster, Dune Part 2, which became a major hit and received a massive online rating of around 8.4 out of 10, an impressive achievement. But it wasn't just the ratings. These movies also earned millions at the box office for their amazing plots, which did not go unnoticed by fans. And so, more and more deals poured in, with games, toys, and other merchandise, each bringing in significant revenue. By 2025, their stock climbs, the film and TV side worth billions with DC, posting hits like the Batman. Spin-offs also pulled in millions of views, establishing DC as a true competitor to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, even with this much success, deep down, Warner Bros. Discovery was facing money troubles with...
Dang. There are people we look up to that are millionaires, multimillionaires, 100 millionaires. They lost more than all of them combined.
Big debt and falling ad sales from cable channels. Consequently, they could not keep going strong on their own, and so two big companies, Netflix and Paramount Skydance, saw this chance and started bidding. And just like that, after a tough fight between these giants, Netflix came out on top and grabbed Warner Brothers.
Press release is out, and let's explain to the public what's happening here.
Not the biggest secret in the world at Netflix.
Dude's got like, what is it called? Heterochromia or something? Look at his eye. Do y'all know who this person is? I don't. I'm blown away by his eye.
Netflix is the winner.
Is the winner, and the deal's done, apparently.
But that was not the only time Warner Bros. Got bought by others. In 2018, AT&T paid a lot to buy Time Warner and rename it Warner Media.
Story in the communications industry, AT&T has reportedly reached a deal to buy Time Warner for more than $80 billion.
They thought it would help mix phone stuff with movies and TV, but things went wrong fast. AT&T and the studio people did not get along well. Their ways of working clashed a lot. Plus, on top of that, AT&T added huge debt, and streaming grew big while cable lost viewers. And in the end, after just a few years, AT&T gave up on Warner Bros., marking the end of their merger. But even though Warner Media tried really hard with their DC films to stay relevant, things weren't going well for them. Things were suddenly going to take...
Did y'all like Black Adam? Put it in the comments. I liked Black Adam. I mean, I think it was amazing, but I liked it. It was a good movie.
A deep dive for Warner Brothers until mid-2025 when Netflix dropped a bomb, buying Warner Brothers for $72 billion equity, $82.7 billion total, after splitting Discovery like CNN. It means, apart from the news channel and Discovery, Netflix will have the authority over all the film-related stuff. Announcement on December 5th, 2025.
Is that a good or a bad thing? I don't know enough much about this stuff.
Says Netflix gets film studios, TV, HBO Max, Now Max, and big IPs like DC, Harry Potter. Naturally, the first concern for fans is DC. What will actually happen to one of the most celebrated theatrical cinema franchises like DC?
And I thought my jokes were bad.
After it is fully acquired by Netflix. At the news of the merger, many feared another reset for the DC universe. After years of reboots and mixed plans, the idea of Netflix stepping in sounded chaotic. Not only that, fans are also worried about what will happen to everyone's favorite superhero franchises such as Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and others. Although these fears initially left many people scratching their heads, they quickly settled when James Gunn, who has been running DC Studios alongside Peter Safran since 2022, made it clear that the Netflix deal would not change the current roadmap.
Taking over DC Studios, it was not a done deal. But still, that didn't stop us from fantasizing about how we would do it, what would the projects be, how would it take place. And the first thing that excited me was reading this book and saying, I think that's something we could adapt as a film and really have a different take on Supergirl, a character who is, you know, so many times female superheroes are so perfect, and she's not that at all. She's very imperfect. You know,
apparently his contract runs until 2027, and
which ironically is what a lot of people aren't liking about that. I don't like how she is in the book. It's not how I would have written it, but I do like that she is not perfect like Superman, but they don't like to make Superman perfect.
His vision for the DC universe remains locked, and so that means films like Superman in 2025, which already proved successful, are only the beginning. On top of that, another project titled Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow quickly drew widespread attention and is expected to be another major hit. And expectations should rise even higher with upcoming movies like The Brave and the Bold, Clayface, and a new Wonder Woman film, which is expected to be released within the next year. So the hype is expected to remain.
Wonder Woman is expected to be released in the next year? What?
Strong thanks to the dedication of the GOAT, James Gunn, ensuring a solid plot and storyline. That said, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, might stir up a superhero face-off, potentially for more attention as a protagonist. So, as things stand, in this case, Netflix's role would likely be financial rather than creative, bigger budgets, wider global reach, and more room to experiment. In short, DC isn't ending at all, it's finally stabilizing. But once that concern fades, another question takes its place. What about Zack Snyder? Will Netflix bring back Zack again? Even though some
y'all have told me no. Pretty much all y'all have told me no. No, they're not gonna, because the relationship isn't as good as it seems, or something like that.
Fans hope Netflix's deep pockets could bring Snyder back for a darker side project, maybe something like Justice League 2. This also made some fans worry since I'd
be down for a side project like that, but I don't think James would be up for it. I really don't. I think that he would want just his universe to be going on. Of course, he wouldn't have control over that, but he could put up a fight.
Always wanted Gunn to take the control, but while that isn't impossible, it wouldn't replace Gunn's main plan at all. At most, it could exist as a separate experiment while both continue to coexist, especially since DC no longer has budget concerns.
Extra creatine, please.
Yo, James Gunn.
Oh, hi, Zack Snyder.
Just saw your new cut of Superman, and word of advice, he's the man of steel, not the man of conversation.
Okay.
Do more shots of him punching, and here is a secret move. Start the punch at regular speed, and then you're gonna ramp it up.
I'm surprised none of y'all have asked me to react to this.
It's not a f***ing secret. I'm sorry, Zack Snyder. I shouldn't be lashing out at you. Your biceps
But what
are the
matters
size-
more is that Netflix sees DC as a long-term asset, not something to cancel.
We need to keep innovating and investing in stories that matter most to audiences. And that's what this deal is all about.
And with streaming originals, animated series, and global spin-offs, DC
I liked how the colors looked there. They looked good.
could actually grow
Side note.
larger than before. But one thing was clear. If Netflix fully acquires Warner, all the Warner classics would eventually land on Netflix. From the Batman and Dune to timeless
What does he mean land on Netflix? What does that mean?
films like Casablanca, the platform would become a one-stop destination for prestige entertainment. However, aside from these possibilities, another major concern arises: movie theaters. Will films still be shown in theaters, or will this mark the end of theatrical release?
Man, I hope not. If that's the case, then Netflix is bad, okay? Because they did say something about shortening theater releases. I think we need to get to a point where we're lengthening them again. There's a lot of money to be made in theaters, not just because people go out and spend money on popcorn and all that kind of stuff, and it's a, great social experience. Because if you do this kind of thing around, like, building malls again and stuff, and outside shopping malls like they have around my areas, people after the theater, they go out and they go eat and they go shopping. I mean, it's great for the economy. Taking away movies, I think, is not great for the economy, because when people just at home, watch the movies at home, a lot of people don't even go so far as to buy popcorn to watch a movie. You know what I mean? From the store. Like our family, when we watch movies at home, we just turn on a movie. That's it. We don't make a big experience about it, because the whole point is being cheaper, right? And I don't know. I feel like it's a mistake to shorten the theater experience. Let me know what you think in the comments if you think I'm crazy. I just feel like theaters need to get back to being longer releases and having to wait longer before it comes to streaming. That's how I feel.
Releases with movies appearing only on OTT platforms. This remains the main concern for some fans, as they have pointed out. This could be the end of Marvel vs. DC, since the films will not be featured on theaters. Well, the concern is real, to be honest, since Netflix's main focus has always been on content quantity rather than quality. This means the more content it produces, the more subscriptions it gains, as we have seen with big series like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and Narcos, which boosted their platform's growth.
I'd be curious to know how many people have seen these things, though. Like how, like a movie that makes, hundreds of millions of dollars, like millions and millions of people are seeing it.
However, surprisingly, despite the many rumors, Netflix has made it clear that Warner films will still be released in cinemas.
For now, absolutely nothing is going to change about how Warner Brothers movies are released in theaters, so moviegoers, do not worry. Okay?
Most important,
for now. Don't worry for now.
Big titles like DC movies, Harry Potter reboots, and other major franchise films will likely still receive theatrical releases. After all, who wouldn't want that when these films earn millions at the box office? But here's a twist: the difference is timing. Instead of waiting months, movies might hit Netflix after 30 to 45 days.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not down with that. I think it should be lengthened. There should be a longer theater run. And they should do some sort of thing where after, like, I don't know, 30 days or something special happens when you go. Like you get to see a preview for a new movie coming out that wasn't on the previous, or you get, I don't know, some sort of post-credits scene. They should do something to make people start wanting to go to theaters and see a movie further down the line, and it's just it's foolish, I think, to take that experience down when there's so much to be gained from it. Like I said about the economy and stuff. I mean, simple things like that.
Apparently for DC film enthusiasts, fans of Batman, Superman, and even Black Adam, this change is hard to accept, as most moviegoers prefer watching these films multiple times on the big screen. But Netflix claims it's a hybrid model. Theaters still matter, but streaming becomes the final home much faster. And statistically, for some films, especially awards contenders...
Also, let me know what you think of my idea. Adding like a second post-credit scene or something important when you get like 30 days in or something that kind of boosts the going again. You know what I mean? Maybe people would see it a second time that wouldn't have, and let me know what you think of that.
Shorter runs could even increase buzz. For example, Frankenstein was released only in US theaters for a short run and had some success. So, as things stand, under James Gunn, DC has a clear path forward, and its highly anticipated movies will still be shown in theaters typically within a month of release. However, Netflix has a clear advantage. They will likely test their strategy by releasing movies like the Batman or Superman trilogies in theaters first, before later making them available on the streaming platform so audiences can watch them repeatedly. While some argue that this approach could reduce DC's box office revenue due to a shorter theatrical window, many believe it will actually boost sales, as more people will flock to theaters to see these films while they are available, treating them as a limited time experience.
To the entire industry.
You're right. You're right.
Netflix's presumed strategy. So
I've never
you might
seen
be
The
wondering,
Sopranos.
why would Netflix buy an entire Hollywood studio? The answer perhaps lies in
I'm not wondering that at all. It gives them a ton of control and more power. I mean, it's
long-term survival and dominance.
From a business perspective, this strategy makes sense. However, for fans, it still feels unfair, as DC movies won't be on a level playing field when compared to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
My mind was blown when I saw that movie. It was blown. I was so jealous as a DC side person.
Which releases its films exclusively in theaters. However, some fans also raise their voices on the issue, saying this means DC won't suddenly change everything and isn't going to stop releasing movies in theaters. Netflix isn't buying Warner just to put Batman and Superman only on streaming.
Sure,
Characters
yeah.
like these make money because they are shown in movie theaters, and theaters lead to bigger box office numbers, more hype, IMAX experiences, toys and merchandise, theme parks, and sequels that people actually care about.
That's right. Movies are the big way to reach people. They're the big way to reach people. I mean, they're TV shows. A lot of people don't realize this. TV shows are not viewed nearly as much by people as movies are, because the movies, they get so much bigger of an audience. That's more of a general statement than it is for every single case.
While others remain doubtful, they argue, honestly, it's probably not good. They'll honor existing contracts, but after that, theatrical releases for movies will be dead. Netflix has no...
I really doubt they'll be dead. I really doubt they'll be dead. There's too much interest in lobbying and everything else. A lot of people involved. I don't think Netflix has that much power.
No interest in that, which means a lot of top film talent will flee Warner Brothers.
They may kill Warner Brothers, but
and by extension, DC. But nobody truly knows what will happen in the long run. One thing is clear though, under Netflix, DC would have vast resources and global reach. Rather than killing franchises, Netflix appears ready to expand them. More stories, more formats, and fewer internal battles.
Fighting. No fucking fighting! Good.
And not just superhero films, even fantasy giants like Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings, The Sopranos, and sitcoms like Friends would also be available on OTT platforms, finally becoming easily accessible to a global audience through streaming.
Well, that told me nothing. Now I really don't know which one I want. I don't know. He didn't really say a lot about Paramount, though, did he? Like, whether. Let me know in the comments why Paramount would be a good or a bad idea, because I honestly have no idea. I feel like I just have to kind of wait and see. That's how I feel. I just have to wait and see. You guys know more. Let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to check out my Amazon store with all sorts of Superman stuff in one place. And remember, guys, like Superman, live humbly, do good.